Good evening, everyone. Mazazuke speaking to us today, being the Thursday, 14th of October 2021. How are we all doing? I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Before we start, I would want to know where you are watching me live and direct from. Let us know, let me know where you are watching me from. I know many of you are in the diaspora. This evening, we will be looking at a wide range of issues. We will look at the call made by the Imo State Governor, um, Hope Uzodinma. We will look at the call he made while he visited the president yesterday. He made a call for a special fund for Biafra. He made a call, he made a call for a special fund for the destruction that happened in 1967 during the Biafra. And listening to that, I thought to myself, well, better late than none. Um, I don't know. Probably he should have spoken about that all the years he was in the Senate. But I think to myself, do you need to remind the federal government at all to even do that? If don't they know what to do? Why did they not in the Senate, in the National Assembly, go ahead with the Southeast Development Commission that was proposed in the Eighth Assembly that did not see the light of day, but the Northeast Development Commission saw the light of day. If I just oppose that vis-a-vis to what happened in Izombe, in Imo State, the state that he governs, and the level of wanton destruction that happened in the last 2 weeks, where the Nigerian military, um, where they sustained casualties from the so-called unknown gunmen. But rather than go after the unknown gunmen, the community was raised down. This is not me saying. The governor himself, in a video published by Njenje Media about 2-3 hours ago, if you go back to Njenje Media on YouTube, you look for it. About 2-3 hours ago, that video was published. These were the words of the governor, that the community was raised. And, when I say raised down, RAZED, raised down, the community now have to go elsewhere and take shelter. It is sad. I don't know the type of army we have that once such thing happen, obviously we have seen similar happen in Odi. Odi in Bayelsa, we saw similar happen in Zakibiam. We also saw Operation Crocodile Smile, something similar happen in Delta State. And recently, Izombe. Coincidentally, the same local government area that actually about 2 weeks ago, after the president came, protested that they do not want, or that they do not want to have a Ruga settlement as been mapped out and as been pushed and nearing implementation. It is ironic and I call it a fatalistic coincidence that those who rejected that is where this is also happening. However, people, this is where we are. I commiserate with every single person from Izombe who lost properties and those who lost life, either ways. And, we are all human, both the military and the communities. The military, obviously, that is an overreaction as a result of them losing their colleagues. For me, in my worldview, no life is worth losing. But the overreaction also must and strongly be condemned, because that is not the way to protect lives and properties of those that pay your money, that pay your dues, that pay your salaries. You ought to protect their territorial integrity. But in this case, I do not think that this is the case. And that the governor was not in any way, go back and watch, go to Njenje and watch the video. That the governor, in my mind, didn't show enough empathy for the community. And I must say that. I mean, Hope Uzodinma and your men, you can disagree with me, but that's what I think. You did not show enough empathy for the community that you govern. Now, all he left the people with was, okay, they were going to look into it and find out how they will, what they will do to get money to rebuild the communities. When Nigerians say they want to rebuild something, oh, wow. Only God knows if 10% of the amount being mapped out for that community will eventually get to them. How do you then begin to quantify when lives were lost? How do we begin to quantify that? How? Human life is unquantifiable. Imagine a man, a woman, a family having a child, train that child, potty trained, primary nursery, primary, secondary school, probably higher institution, and suddenly, out of avoidable carelessness, avoidable, underline that word, avoidable. These things are avoidable. They are avoidable. That's my argument. Avoidable. But before we go deeper into this conversation, people, good evening, everyone. If you're joining me, I am still Mazel Zoka, and this is Njenje Media TV. Please subscribe to this platform if you haven't. Now, for many of you watching from Facebook, it has come to my attention something happened that Facebook is suppressing our viewers and our viewership, that many of you no longer see things when we publish them. We publish nothing less than 20 articles, news, posts, videos, a lot of things we share on Facebook. Now, please, someone wrote me a WhatsApp message, and I'll say thank you if you're watching me now for alerting me on that. What you can do is unlike Njenje Media and like it back. He said he unliked it and liked it back. Then he started getting everything again. I don't know. You try it. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't made this channel go green, if you haven't shared it with somebody, then it means I am putting the names of those that will make heaven. If you didn't like Njenje Media, I won't put your name on the name of those that will make heaven. I am now the register. Don't ask me who told me. Don't ask me who made me, because yesterday was past. Today is party. And as it happens in our nature, tomorrow will be tickle.
You will be a past participant. Yeah. Hey, Ebu Agomia. One day we go me. Say yesterday you are a past. So very soon you shall be past. Party. One name. Say tickle. Say tickle. One nana so you ba na ebuli ebuli. On a meko.
Ana so iba na ebuli ebuli. Ana so ibo mo ana eda fandiga eje nigwe. If you haven't liked this video this evening, I'm not going to put your name. So you better like it. If you want me to put your name on those when we'll be singing Lada, 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 oh, follow the ladder to heaven, I will be checking. Is your name there? No, you didn't like Njenje Media. Go to one side. Is your name there? No, 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 no. So if your name is not there, you will not, obviously. So people, let's get back to the issue at hand. Before I do that, like I said, everyone that I said thank you once more for joining me. I have Chidebere Ofo watching from Lagos. I have Mike OC watching from Dubai. Joe Chukwu Jeku watching from UAE. Again, I have Desmond DK watching from Texas, United States of America. I have many of you from everywhere across the globe. And I say, I do not take your, subscription here, your partnership here. I do not take it for granted. Here at Njenje Media, what we are building is a community of critical thinkers, critical thinkers, where we look at issues dispassionately. Many people would disagree with us that we do not allow emotion to becloud our sense of reasoning and fairness. But hey, over time, we know we are on the right track because we insist on the actual and the right news, no fake news. Hence, our motto: we explore the truth behind the headlines. We dig deep, we make the calls. We, you know, we go like this, we go like this when we are looking for news. We go like this, we go like this, we go like this, and we'll find the
Our
solution.
economic is doing like this. It's doing like this. It's playing.
So that's how we go. We go everywhere. We dig. We look under. We look up. We look. So I came grüß dich auch aus Deutschland. Wo genau aus Deutschland? Guten Abend. Chichi Atueziogo from France. Bonjour. Bonjour. Comment ça va? I just tire for this country. Opulent. Watching from Indonesia. I hope you guys in Indonesia is safe. Watching from Southeast Ibuku Aguata to be precise. Oh, Ibuku, my neighboring community. Your late Igwe was a very good friend of mine. Igwe Martin, as late Igwe Martin. So, aus Berlin. Na, grüß dich. Ich hoffe, alles geht gut bei euch, denn da aus Berlin. Grüße Angela Merkel für uns. Ne? So, people, good vibe. Say, my voice sound weird. What's happening? Hold on. Oh, sorry, people. I don't know. Hold on. Say, my voice is sounding weird. Let me see. Hello. My voice is sounding weird. Hold on, let me see. Okay. No, my voice is sounding okay. Huh? People, I don't know. I don't know what else to do, but I think from all the settings here, no, my voice is okay. Anyway, so people, you're cracking. I'm cracking. Your voice sounds weird. Check your tech. You say I'm cracking. Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Live and direct. It's now. Okay, whatever that was, I don't know. But I think all the mixers here, all the settings in the mixers, this one is checked out. This one, yeah, everything in the studio here is okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for alerting me. Thank you for being part of the family. This is Njenje Media family. It's a family. It's a family. It's a family of the world citizens. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's start. Now let's start with this. Let's start with what Hope Uzodimma actually said. And you tell me what you think of what he said. Let me bring the Arise team to
Just saying it will help with poverty in Africa.
Right. Let's take a story in Nigeria. On Wednesday, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, called for the establishment of a special fund to compensate the Southeast over the devastation of the region during the civil war.
Now, Hope Uzodimma here is calling for a special fund to rebuild the Southeast since after the war. Hope Uzodimma was in the Senate. What am I missing? Hope Uzodimma, why didn't you call for this while you were in the Senate? Are you trying to do this as an indirect way of getting a fund to rebuild the Izombe that's been destroyed by the military? But let's continue. Let's continue.
The governor said if created, the special fund will provide succor to those who lost their property and family members during the 30-month civil war that ended in 1970 and left the Southeast in a state of penury. He likened the special fund to a special law enacted as the Northeast Development Commission, which caters to disasters linked to Boko Haram incidents.
Exactly. Hope Uzodimma, you were in the Senate when the Northeast Development Commission was passed. I mean, why do we begin to request for some things we know cannot be done by the executive? Why didn't you find a way to, coerce, do whatever, caucus with your colleagues, do whatever you can do with your colleagues to ensure at that point that I'm still, why that's a noble call. I must say this, why that is a noble call, but I am struggling to put my finger on listen, this call for me is absolute nonsense. It means absolute nothing because I am trying to put my finger on what exactly is behind this. This is not, for me, it is good. I mean, as I'm a dotted person. So if this is done, it's good. But I am trying to go beyond what everyone is thinking at this moment. What is behind it?
The governor also complained about how revenues accruing from the zone are shared and said the current revenue allocation formula, which was last reviewed in 1992, is obsolete. Well, I think that he makes a very valid point, and I think it's about time that the Southeast governors start requesting or start calling out these issues in the Southeast. I think compensation is needed at this point.
I think he makes an excellent point, and I feel like this is the time to make it because.
But you see, sometimes if you're a non-Igbo and you're watching me now, if you're not part of the old Eastern region in Nigeria, if you're an African, if you're an American watching me now, you're not a Nigerian. If you're a Nigerian, but you're not from the old Eastern region, watching me now, do not think that, for 1 second, please, do not think, oh, Igbos, they've come again. Oh, the Easterners, they've come again. No. Ask yourself, why is it a war that stopped in 1970? For Christ's sake, you know what it means? 51 years later, the children that were born after the war, like myself, are now saying things you had agreed the 3 hours, reconstruct, rebuild, and things you've agreed to do 51 years ago, you've obviously abandoned it. So please let no one tell us that, oh, why now? It's as good as saying to the blacks in America, oh, why talk about that, the treatment that you were given in this, or your parents were given in this late camp? Oh, get over it. No, I do not think it is that people should get over it that way. I think, honestly, that if the government is sincere, part of the reason and part of the things the government should be doing to assuage the feelings and fears of the people from the eastern Nigeria, especially now the southeast, is to begin to address the things that leads to this restiveness, because there are causes and there are effects.
President Buhari has shown that he is the only one who has the courage to address historical injustice like June 12th. So he can also go that much further and look at all the plethora of injustice that's happened in this country and nobody has ever addressed. However, I will say in 2017, I recall that the Nigerian government then, there was a consent judgment that the Nigerian government was to pay 88 billion naira in compensation to victims of the Biafra war in the southeast, south, and parts of the north central. They were also supposed to devote some of that money. No, I think 50 billion was to victims and the rest of it was to evacuate abandoned bombs and landmines all over the place and then build schools, build churches, mosques, and what have you. That was in 2017. For the governor of Imo State to be raising this now, it shows that that money has never been paid.
Exactly. So where is the money? If someone has taken this money, give us the address of the person who took the money. It's time to begin to ask these critical questions. I was like somebody saying here, I hope you're not in Nigeria because they don't like truth. Oh, so what? What are they going to do? DSS, the only thing they can do is that they jump fence, and that's what they are good at, jumping fence. Like criminals. Sorry.
And it will go a long way towards healing some wounds.
Absolutely.
That you could argue that Biafra does not deserve any compensation because they decided to go to war with Nigeria.
Oh dear, please spare me this. How many times would we correct this impression? Please. The Biafrans did not go to war. Please. My forefathers did not go to war for the last time. They did not freaking go to war. It brought war to them. They drew a line. When you rejected them, they went home and said, here we are. What was the thing? Who fired the first shot? Mazu, be coming down. But these things get to my nerve because when this history is misrepresented in this manner, it really gets my skin. They, for the last time, did not declare war. They did not break the Aburi Accord agreement. They didn't. They flew into Aburi to seek for resolution. They did all they can. Arguments today, in hindsight, we can argue from history books, could they have given more? Could they have done more? But then, you see, one thing we must also, especially those of us that were born after the war, one thing we must also know is the human emotion of things that transpired there. When you had trains coming from Benue, today, Middle Belt, from Castina Ladem, you have the Port Harcourt Medugri line. When you have trains coming to Umahia, coming to Enugu with dead bodies. I mean, the people were emotionally charged, seeing their kith and kins being slaughtered in that manner, and their bellies of pregnant women torn apart, and the babies, fetus coming out, things people's head being yanked off. Sadly, the leaders of that time could not agree. But please, I beg of us, it is misinformation to say that they declared war. They did not. They never declared war. They drew a line in the sand and say, if you come over here because nobody wanted you on the other side, I will give you succor. That was all. Is it because they told the IOCs to stop making payments to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as it were. And what did you expect them to do? If you want to run a republic and you have the ingredients in form of oil where you can get revenue, where you've been bombarded, why wouldn't you do so? Sorry again, young lady, go ahead, but I must correct that impression. They did not declare food.
Isn't that argument? But however, the counter argument to that is if you look at the Marshall Plan, even though Nazi Germany decided to drag the whole world into another world war, America extended money to rebuild Europe, including Germany. Western Germany accepted the money. East Germany did not because they were under the USSR. The USSR had their own Molotov plan. So even though Germany was the aggressor, it didn't matter. The whole world suffered. The whole world needs to rebuild. The whole world needs to heal. That was the idea then. And I think that should be the idea now.
Well said, Tundu Abiola. Dr. Bati, your comment?
Okay, well, what is clear is that the politics of the Civil War will never go away. The key point made by Senator Hope Uzodinma is how Igbos within the Nigerian arrangement continue to suffer great injustice. And to that extent, you will find even generations.
You see, this is one thing that I don't like talking because it really gets me emotional. Everybody freaking knows. Everybody knows it. Igbos suffer injustice. Yet people are not coming together enough to ensure that it stops. Have you ever post for 1 second and ask yourself, you think many people talking about Biafra or this, Biafra, that you think actually that they want to go? You think that actually when things work, that you give them, the Nigeria, a larger, bigger market, that they wouldn't want to stay? It is because of this perceived and constant nagging of injustice that makes them say they want to leave the entity called Nigeria, irrespective of what they have invested in it. Every Nigerian knows these facts. Yet, we still do not have the critical mass to say, okay, we have seen this fact, can we correct it? There is a guiding principle that guides the great Igbo nation, which is anchored on live and let me live. If we have 6 oranges, I am not interested in yours. But please, stop looking at mine with one corner eye. Is that too much to comprehend? That's all. An Igbo man does not want doesn't want your share. Keep your share. Allow me to thrive. Allow me what it takes. Is it not an injustice that you've done everything humanly impossible not to allow him? You know he engages in trade. You never allowed him to import that to his doorstep. I have done in 2019, I did, under the leadership of Igboho, I did a research that questionnaire where people answered where they were importing from and their final destination. Over 75 said final destination was southeast of those questions. You can go argue with the data, but this is data. Over 202 people, importers, took these survey. So if you just oppose that to the same people, let's be in a place, yet you do not have a seaport that is functional. It took activism to barely last week, Saturday, 4 days ago, or maybe 5 days ago, to have the Enugu International Airport, or rather, Kanibiam International Airport, Enugu, to come back on stream. Why must we always quarrel? Why did it need to have people? Listen, I hope these things will be written down one day. Some of us know some things that happened. I will just tell us this, that things that happened in this Enugu, at some point, you keep asking yourself, but why this nonsense? But sometimes you got to play the fool and be on the civil part of the activism to ensure that these things happen. But if not, it's a question of questioning every other person getting involved in this. Why are you doing this? Which I keep doing all the time. And sadly, those you fight for, one of them in the assembly, I asked him, okay, come, let's talk about this on my platform. He said, oh no, the other day you were insulting me, saying that yati yat. I said, listen, one thing I don't insult anybody, but one thing I do is I ask questions. You can't take that away from me. Part of my job. I ask questions. You answer me, I follow it up with uncomfortable questions. If you don't like it, sorry. You can go look for transformer and do yourself justice. Sorry. So, but when you look at all these things, you think, is there no injustice? Of course there are. But many people, sorry, some for non-Easterners may not understand this. May not understand this. May not. Honestly, may not.
You know, future generations still raising that issue. Chimamanda Adichie did not witness the Civil War. She wrote a phenomenal novel on it. Who knows, again, someone in the future will bring up the issue from whatever perspective. So the thing, of course, is that after the war ended, there was a Go-On initiative, rehabilitation, reconstruction, reconciliation. There are many Igbos who think that did not work. And you know the controversy over £1. Okay, other governments may have come forward later to still say, oh, we will address it. But for the average Igbo man, the Civil War never ended, and it has not ended. So the bigger question, beyond Uzodinma looking for a Southeast Development Fund, is to ensure that Nigeria is run in such a way that people have a sense of belonging. They have a sense that, you know, this country is interested in justice and equity. Now, the governor of Imo State raised other issues because this was at the zonal public hearing on revenue allocation formula. And he said that, look, the Southeast has been served very badly. The federal government takes over 56%. The states take about 26%. Local councils take 20%. You go and give 56% to the federal government for resources developed.
No. But it's 54. 54, 28, 20.
Correct.
Say, for example, in the southeastern region, as he drew attention to. And he also raised the issue about oil. He says, look, his own state, Imo State, has over 46 wells and accounts for a substantial amount of oil production. But that those wells have been taken away from Imo State and given to River State. You know, at least he gave that specific example. So these were the kind of things he was drawing at.
And that is it. You see, these are things that were intentional. You know, sometimes many people will believe that these were things that were intentionally done. There are, in the time of boundary adjustment, there are clearly areas, you know, that these areas belong to the Southeast, but these areas were carved down to River State. It does two things. It creates acrimony and friction between two brothers that ought not to actually fight themselves. If not, if you take the case of the Z in Benue State, what on God's name were those who were doing the boundary adjustment? What were they smoking? What type of weed did they smoke when they did that? To take Igbo-speaking people of Ebonyi and put them in Benue. So what were they smoking? What were they smoking? That, you know, lands that belong to Imo State were carved out to rivers. Jeez. Man. The country tire will lie. It just
attention to you. The need to correct the gross injustice at the heart of the Nigerian arrangement. So at that,
I think he spoke very well.
Yes, at that foundational level, I think that's the key point.
Absolutely.
How you now deal with it, you know, is the responsibility of all stakeholders within Nigeria.
Well said, Dr. Abati. Rufai, your comment on this story.
And for me, I think this will bring forward the conversation on restructuring again. Because prior to this time, the eastern region grew faster than any other region because of the discovery of oil in Olebiri in 56. And because of that, the eastern region was paying to the Federation Purse a certain percentage from the proceeds of oil. Imo State, I think Shell had one of their biggest headquarters in Imo.
Exactly.
It's close to the government house. Most of these oil majors had hubs in the east.
In the east.
Because of the discovery of oil. And then the economic activity was better. You know, there was a feedback into towns like Onitsha and some other parts. After the Civil War, they lost a lot of that.
Of course, everything
And whatever that has been done in the past clearly has not worked. Let's not deceive ourselves. But one step further for me, I don't think there should be a development commission. I think they can look for other means of still channeling the money or funneling money for development to the Southeast region, but not a development commission. We have seen how it does not work with NDDC. We have seen how it does not work with the Northeast Development Commission.
That's another argument, yeah.
So I don't believe in that because that would...
Rufai, I would agree with you here, 100%. You know, trying to recreate the a conduit for them to steal money, it doesn't cut it for me. But if they are being sincere, there should be certain percentage, 1%, 2%, 0.5%, I don't know, say for the next couple of years to do XYZ in this region as a result of these should be done. Yes, I agree with something.
Be another bureaucracy. What I think they should do is, please, put in a lot of infrastructural projects. Take, for instance, we are building rail in every part of the country. I have not heard about one major rail line that will connect Aba out to other parts.
Rufai, you're going too far. Don't worry. Amechi told us that they don't stone. The reason why they steal is that we don't stone them. Don't worry. No be 2 years, no be 18 months, remember. You go come home, you go come meet us. Would they go Kware? Would they go Ebonyi? Would they go sharpen stone? You just said it now. 7 years in this government. We hear Lagos about the expressway, Kaduna Abuja expressway, this one to Niger Republic expressway, but which nothing. They keep lying. Do you know that? Because I've had, you see, that when I read these things, I fish out people who know and I bring them here, I interview them. That's why when some of us just argue, oh, I read comments, it's a one Nigerianist. I laugh because many of you, those comments, you just make them out of ignorance because you understand basically nothing of what is happening. Here is where you have rail that have been done across Nigeria, standard gauge rail, standard. Suddenly, it comes to the old eastern region. You want to replace all? You see, that's the one that. Even when I had, I think, the last conversation with Roland Tagoba, one of the consultants for that, I said, you guys are still not making sense to me. What you're sitting down here explaining to me does still not make sense. That you will do only Port Harcourt, Maiduguri is the one you're going to do on narrow gauge. Whereas you're removing the gauge already. People, let's, for the just because we are layman, we are all idiots. What it means, this is the rare. You see, these two. Now so the rare be, right? The gap in between is what we call that gauge. So if it was like this, what we are now saying is make it wider, standard gauge. So that if it gets to Maiduguri, so if Maiduguri becomes a standard gauge, Maiduguri can actually, from Maiduguri, go to Lagos. When it gets to Umahia, if the one from Lagos Ibadan eventually comes to Abo and comes to Onitsha, so that the other one from Aba can also crisscross and probably go through Mbidi or Mbise or wherever, only God knows where. But what it means is like you're building 5G and you're building 1G. The other will not. When we had this old television, the one would do kick, 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 and tell somebody to go and wait outside. We turning it, and the next thing you hear, oh, stop, 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 we can have signal. Suddenly you hear, Eti Kwansan, yeah. Eti Kwansan. That's when the new masquerade, Jebuzaya, start coming. And the person that is holding that pole, if he leaves, he says, oh, no, it's not clear, it's not clear. He goes back and hold it again. It's like we've gone back to that time. When somebody will be sitting down there holding it, that means these gauges are not going to communicate. So how much is it freaking going to take us to replace the gauges? Take them out. You are going to take them out and replace them ab initio, because that's what it means. Because I asked that specific question. You are going to replace them. So why don't you just take it out entirely? Take it out. For me, till tomorrow, it is madness. In fact, it is a clear definition of insanity to replace the same narrow gauge, Port Harcourt to Medugri, with another narrow gauge. If you want to know that somebody is Onyala and somebody is just Kukumba, that is a clear definition. That's what it means. No apologies. That's what it means. Amechi is doing that for Ndibo, for us. We are going to do now. He's now lying. Challenge me on this. There is no funding for that project. They flagged it off, but there is no funding. How can we keep deceiving ourselves, for Christ's sake? The other day I was listening to Mr. President's, which was broadcasted today on Njenje Media, his budget presentation. We have finished Lagos Ibadan Express. I say, how? Why not they lie? Which Lagos Ibadan Express with the Lagos Ibadan rail line did you finish? Which one? The one still under construction as we speak. Today, Thursday, 2020, 21, 22. Now, work is still going on, and you're telling us it's completed. Can't we be truthful and say the Lagos Ibadan rail line is nearing completion? That is way. If I'm in my project as a project manager, I see that work outstanding. You turn the amber, you turn it into green, I'll sack you. Why? Who signed it off? You don't have signalings, not working. The stations are not completed. You still have a hell lot of work that you cannot even complete in 3 years. And you're saying it's completed. And everybody is clapping. Zombies, we are clapping. Oh, it's completed. Nigeria, they do me self.
And Aba is a great industrial hub. And I keep making a case for the South is because, so it is not because, there's a conversation on marginalization, that's why you should give them infrastructure. You should, because they are big production hubs and they will help the country. I don't see why we can't build rail lines into where the innocent cars are being produced, for instance, so that you can freight them through.
I like that point.
You
Very
get
valid, yeah.
So the South is actually generating a lot of industrial productive material. And you need to put infrastructure in place to be able to carry it out for them. So justice has to be done, and it has to be done quickly. The Development Commission, I think it's a bureaucratic bottleneck. If there's a symbiosis with the private sector and a lot of these stakeholders in the Southeast and can build those infrastructure, I'm happy about that.
Well said, Rufai.
Well, I thought the last time Minister Michi was here, he talked about the rail network in the East, which will open up the East all the way to the northern part of Nigeria. Now, what they may not have been able to work out is to get to the stage where they take it all the way to the north and link it with the remaining networks. But certainly, it's one of the things Minister Amici talked about.
We look forward to that.
Yes.
Let's take another.
He's on the realm of talking. I'm telling you, here we are 2 years ago, before the election. Here we are in 2018. Everybody, the Aba Enugu has been completed. Me, Mazezoka, and me use my leg, 24th of December. Everybody was going home to go celebrate Christmas. I was walking in the bushes of Olokoro Obakara, Aba. looking at the tracks that train has not gone on for over 2 years, and somebody is telling me that it's finished. I said, not while we are alive. All you can do is you keep telling the lies. My job is to keep sneaking in and getting videos and come and tell the world is a lie. You've lied. So Lagos Ibadan Expressway, you want next week, I can get you a video. It's not finished. So don't let nobody deceive you on that. They can come on Arise TV and deceive you guys because you are air conditioned in office. You don't go out. Me here, we'll go and get it. If it's not me, we send somebody. So nobody can come and lie us. There is nothing happening in the Port Harcourt Medugri. There is not even any fund. Now, as I speak to you today, they are still looking for fund, how to fund it. And it is very unlikely that they might even get the fund before this government finishes, by the virtue of the ballooned loan we have. So who will fund it?
Story.
Are you not aware that we went to United Nations and we are praying for debt forgiveness? So if somebody knows that you're saying, please, can you forgive us our debt forgiveness, how can the person give you more? You go to bank. Oh, bank, I owe you 2 billion. Please, can you forgive me 1 billion? But bank, please, I need 3 billion. The bank will be thinking whether this person is all right. Because if I give you the money, it's either you go bankruptcy, then I know you are bankrupt entirely, then I can talk about writing your debt off. But when you now want to tell me you cannot pay my debt, but you need more money, unless that can be done by the Chinese, because they are looking for your mineral resources. But again, what do we know? We are here, the Chinese. 3 feet. Sorry, I don't want to get angry now, honestly.
On Wednesday, Yoruba activist Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, was reported to have been rushed to the hospital after he took ill in a detention facility in Benin Republic. One of the lawyers representing the separatist activist said he may be battling an illness relating to his kidneys and lungs. He also claimed that Igboho was injured while trying to escape during the invasion of his home by the operatives of the Department of State Services on July 1st. He said Igboho is seriously ill and needs to be flown abroad for treatment. Igboho was arrested at Cardinal Bernardin International Airport in Cotonou while on his way to Germany. He was subsequently arraigned before a court in Benin Republic and has remained in custody of the government after the extradition hearing on the request of the Nigerian government was stalled. I have a lot of questions regarding Igboho's continued detention. I mean, it was the government of the Republic.
My dear, I wish I have clarity there. See, a lot of things that is happening. You know, that's why when they talk about NK, they talk about extraordinary rendition. You see, one of the things they read here is the extradition hearing. One, that's the only reason why they can't send him to Nigeria. That's the only reason. Because now, you know, the world is watching, everyone is watching, see how you're going to do. But are you going to go into Benin to kidnap him? Because now people are aware.
Of Benin that arrested him based on the fact that he had, bad documents or what have you. But, I mean, the fact that he is still there just bothers me a lot.
Yes, he's one of those people who is an awaiting trial prisoner at this point. But one thing I will say for our neighbors is that they seem to show a lot more civility than we do here to political prisoners or prisoners of conscience, whatever you want to call them. Because I recall in the case of Zakzaki, when he was reportedly seriously ill, he was not rushed to any hospital. So that must be said, that even if somebody is a prisoner awaiting trial, he must have his full human rights observed. He has the right to see a doctor. There are others I could mention, which I will not, who were gravely ill in Nigerian state detention and were not given any medical help and essentially died a slow death over a period of years.
So sad.
This would not have happened if he was in Nigeria. If he was gravely ill, he would not have been rushed anywhere. And that's the point that I want to note. And I just want to not say anything further on this.
Rufai, your analysis on this topic.
So for me, he's there in Benin Republic. The lawyers have said he's sick. He's been rushed to the hospital. The last I heard that the investigations are on. So that's why they detained him. And they seem to have been able to reach an agreement between the government of Benin Republic and Council for Sunday Igboho. it is on the council to be able to push on the need for him to be flown abroad. So there's a conversation.
I think that's what they're pushing.
Yeah, so there's a conversation around that, to be had around that. But most importantly in all of this, the government in Benin Republic and Sunday Igboho, I've been able to come on the same page as regards the investigation on the case. They've not come out to tell us what is going on as regards the investigation, but it's still on and it's still kept in detention. I think the French legal system is they keep you in detention while they go to investigate. I think that's the way they do it. I mean, I'm not totally grounded on the French legal system. So that's why that is going on. He's there with his wife, Rockbo. Let's see how this pans out in the coming days. And I know his counsel definitely will give us more updates, as regards what is happening to Sunday Igboho in Benin Republic.
I think also the point is that they claim that he got injured during that invasion in his home.
But was it the injury that led to
Well, that's what he's trying to claim.
Well, that's what he's insinuating. But I think that alone, that he got injured, probably by bullet, would tell, I don't want to start trouble now, but it will tell those that believe that those amulets or whatever, tortoise head and the rest, can actually prevent you from, I had argued once, if these things work, now we don't do market with that. Now begin to export them to America. Let them use it and go to war front. But that's on a side note here. I just pray and hope that he gets the right treatment that he
claim at this point, Dr. Abati.
It's not the one claims.
That's what I said. The lawyer.
That's his name.
Correct.
He's the one who says he has lungs and kidney problems, and that he's been taken to hospital, and that they're going to ask that she should be flown abroad for him to get good care. Okay, after the July 1 invasion of his residence, he suddenly showed up in the Republic of Benin. Two issues with Republic of Benin: traveling with, what they call fake documents. He was arrested along with his wife. His wife was later freed by the court. And then the Nigerian government brought an extradition application, and that was also stalled. And now we understand that he's not feeling too well.
Yeah.
Well, the appropriate place to go to, again, will be to the courts by his lawyers to ask that he should be, flown abroad. Because the principle, the international principle, is that even when a man has been accused of an offense, he's innocent until proven guilty, right? And he has to be in a condition where he can stand trial.
Exactly.
So these are some of the details they will look at. What you were saying, the French, judicial system, adjudicatory system, is accusatorial. You are accused, and then you have to go and look for evidence to prove your innocence. But in the English jurisdiction, it's prosecutorial. So that's just the technical difference. But whatever it is, the basic thing is the rights of the accused as recognized under international human rights law.
Very well said, Dr. Abati. We'll take another story that has been circulating online. It's a video showing supporters of the candidate of the Young Progressive Party, Ifeanyi Ubah, chanting and following campaign vehicles in a busy market in Lagos State. Now, this is ahead of the November 6th governorship election in Anambra State. Let's take a look.
Gubernatorial election Anambra State na Lagos game as campaign. Hey, ndi Igbo unu bagode ezigbo ike.
Well, in another development, a video showing supporters of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafran, Nnamdi Kanu, rallying against Ifeanyi Ubah's campaign in Lagos has made the rounds. Let's take a look.
Arrival of Ifeanyi Ubah at Alaba International Market, as we can see. This is what is happening in Alaba International Market right now. You can see the Alaba level of Ifai Oba, who is contesting for the governorship of Anambra State, but men are saying Ori Nandikani they know. As you can hear, they are saying no election in Anambra State. Alaba is never live and direct. You are watching us live in Alaba International Market, live now and direct. People are shouting, Korean and Kanja. No, Alaba is reporting live from.
I just heard you say offshore campaign. That tag that you said. Campaign. But you were making reference to the song they were singing in this video.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big agitation song. I mean, if you dial back videos out of the Civil War, this was the exact tone, you know, yeah. Holy, holy, Emeka Ojukwu is another savior and the likes. But what is really important here is the stakeholders in the East need to sit down. Because you cannot talk about happenings in the East without talk about the agitations.
Exactly.
And no matter you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you cannot make an omelette without breaking eggs. You cannot, no matter how you like it.
There's been injustice in the past.
Slice it.
And because of this, it has foiled this movement. And it has a mass following. And that was what was exemplified here.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the problems, the reason why you see that a gubernatorial candidate in Anambra State is coming to campaign in Lagos.
In Lagos.
Because of the insecurity. I mean, those that dared, you saw what happened. APGA campaign, 6 people were killed during the campaign. Most importantly, we need to sit down and talk. We need to address this issue. And I'm sure this is just a protest to let Ifeanyi Ubah know that we need to address this issue. So it behoves on the stakeholders in the East to have a sit down.
Rufai here, not only the stakeholders in the East, not only the stakeholders in the East, everybody, especially the federal government, because
I will sit down. I'm happy.
Sorry, what the people are calling for, what the people are saying is an opportunity for them to sit down and dialogue, opportunity for them to sit down and talk, and that is the only. You know, no matter how you look at it, that's the only thing that this government is not good at. So people, if you're just joining me, I'm still Mazes, okay? And this is Njenje Media TV. If you haven't subscribed to our platform, please do. Across the various social media handles, we are over 500 people watching, growing. Please, if you're watching me on YouTube, just click the like button. If you're watching me on Facebook, please. I've been told that Facebook has been suppressing the viewership. Many people have been complaining they don't see what we post. So if you can just quickly unlike and like back, I've been told that fixes it. Please just do that in a moment. So having said that, the good news, another good news here is that Chiwetalu Agu, the one that was, I wouldn't say abducted. Was it abducted? Yeah, by the Nigerian army. He's been freed. Not only that he was free, because the other time we showed you pictures and video of pictures of him and Mike Ozokome SAN, who apparently represented him, and before he came out. Now, here is him today in Enugu. For the first time, he spoke to the fan base. Once more, please, if you haven't subscribed to this platform, do, and share with others as well. Chiwetalu Agu. God, let's hear from you.
I want to hear them back and back in Kuho. I'm more bit the local. Who the first phase, who the second phase. The guy was at the final phase. When they couldn't on the BBC and no have. And we're more correctly hanging in Tia. But I hope you are going to them ever now, but I'm in there. See, on your bonnet, but go to bed. Iboguano! Iboguano! Where's your no? I believe one daughter, Mandoji, then one done a bondipo. Habokunacha. Rising The sun rises from the east and sets in the west. And what else? I want to know I can now muke konwa wana fwanye. Ndi ocha maho makagwa. Ndi ocha maho makagwa. As of 1991. 1995, Jegide, officially living in bondage bialo 1992 in the incubator. All Chiwetalu Agu by 1993, Mubiana all living in bondage we put amo organize. Now for onye we unu nine we able to see by nwazo olu tata call Jesus aka. Well, anya de jekus government here. Ayaje just individuals. No, all agbago kupaka through Nollywood. Onye wezie go bena invest in Nollywood. Give one talent in acting. You must the opportunity to act, make your money. Do you ever like an ambulance in Anyanwago since afternoon I be alive. Because I get just ukua. Naive, not no chichelo. Kaja nankenze za ukua naive, not no chichelo. So chakwaye onye ga na betalaka emike na betalaka. Hip 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 ule.
So let me take that much because obviously I want to us to ramp up, ramping up. But the for those who do not understand Igbo, he said virtually that he talked about how they started the Nollywood 1992-1994 with Living in Bondage and the role he played. And as the interview eventually progressed, which obviously won't play, but I will tell you, and the full interview is also on Njenje Media. You can watch the full length of the interview if you do understand Igbo. Now that he wasn't treated badly, at some point he re-emphasized that the rising, the yellow rising sun that was on his I don't know whether to call that gown or dress, whichever one, as long as it's not a dress. So that was on that garment. Okay, yes, maybe garment. So and he concluded eventually that he wasn't treated badly, even at some point that the military were all falling against each other as to who would have to speak to him. And again, he spoke, with parable. And again, I'm a man of words and parable. As the great legend Chinua Achebe also told us that amongst the Igbos, that parable, or rather proverbs, is regarded highly, and proverbs are the palm oil with which words are eaten. And that was from the legend himself, Chiwetalu Agu Achebe. So having said that, I'll move to the next story. One is, I think I did show us the video of Kazaure, who questioned how the government is actually fighting corruption. Because in his words, the government is actually not fighting corruption. Yet, this is a man who is representing APC from Kazaure local government. Listen to him once more.
And also a speaker of the masses. That is my name. This government said they are fighting corruption. They are fighting corruption. But I never see fighting corruption. Because we are saying we are fighting corruption, but we are going very slowly, and we are saying by mouth, but we are not acting practically. It's embarrassed. It's embarrassed. Because if you look at the budget presentation, look at the debt service. The debt service is almost above capital. 3-point-something trillion. For the first 16 or to 25 years back, Nigerian money are looted. Keep it. Some they put our money like dead bodies in the grave. They buried our money. Some they carry our money abroad. Why can't the government make a strong interrogation and investigation team? If you look at an example, an estimate, a woman, a single person, the former petroleum minister, he went with $60 billion. That is 5 years budget. 5 years Nigerian budget, her alone. And there is thousands of her. If there is real investigation, there is thousands like her. See people living in mansion and they are government officials. Is their salary get that mansion for them? And we say we are fighting corruption. If we are really fighting corruption in this country, we will not borrow money to fund. It's embarrassing. Even my blood pressure go high as I had the debt service. 3-point-something trillion debt service.
So
while people are suffering in this country, some are living with 1 square meter.
So make it the kwandan. Your blood pressure where it don't go off, it don't kwandan. Whether even it's if your blood pressure it don't go off, I hope it's going to kwandan. Like the president will tell us from the top to bottom.
See.
From the top to bottom.
ABC from top to bottom.
To bottom.
Top to
From
bottom. Top to bottom. To bottom.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
So you see why I play this one is because if your heart pressure is going from bottom to top, I say make it a come from top to bottom. Make they go from bottom to up because that is not good. Now if you finish it, no wonder as you said it now I can understand your next video where you said that the economy is not doing well. Now I understand why, because there is corruption and they are not fighting it. No wonder our economy is doing like this. It's doing like this.
Our economic is doing like this. It's doing like this. It's blinking, shaking, blinking, shaking.
So our economy is blinking, shaking, blinking like Travgeta broken, blinking. So that's the reason why. But again, it's good that I only ask you, because if I say let me ask Ogalai might. Oh, anyway, let's ask him. Ogalai, what?
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?"
Oga, I don't want to join the league of your grandchildren that would ask you that question. But again, you are forgiven. But let's get to the next story. So the next is on a confession. I wouldn't say it's a confession. This was done by Punch newspaper. It's an interview by a military guy that was court-martialed. It's about 10 minutes or thereabout. Take your time. Watch the whole. No, I'm not going to stop it. I will leave it entirely to play. You see why we are in a deep mess. Deep mess. Let me bring him in.
I was enlisted into the army on the 20th of August, 2012. After my enlistment, I passed out from training on the 17th of December. After that, I was transferred. I was posted to 101 Battalion, Kanji in Niger State. Months after that, I was inducted into the theater fully for the purpose to counter the terrorists, the Boko Haram terrorists terrorizing us in Nigeria. When I got to Maiduguri, to Borno State, Maiduguri, as the journey went on, my first task in Borno State was town patrol. After my first task, I was deployed straight to Damboa local government. The first attack that happened in Damboa was when we overpowered Boko Haram terrorists with our inferior weapons. As time went on, I met with my commander, my loving commander. I said, sir, when we went for our first attack, I noticed my weapon used to jam. The weapon is jamming, it jams. So he said to me that there is an alternative. He said I should make sure that I service my rifle on daily basis, like every morning. I said, Ogasa, I normally use to service my rifle daily because of the terrain. The first day I went to Sambisa Forest, my first encounter in Sambisa Forest was when I knew that what Boko Haram terrorists use against my troop was more sophisticated than the one I used. When we got engaged in a fierce battle, as they were firing and we were firing, I discovered my weapon, the start of my weapon was nowhere near. I discovered they were using Browning machine gun, that's Browning machine gun with the anti-aircraft machine gun. Those two machine guns were what my troop lacked. Because the highest weapon we had, the highest machine gun we had was the MPMG machine gun. The Browning machine gun has an effective range of 1,800 meters, while its maximum range is above 7,000 meters. That is the BMG for you. Then the anti-aircraft machine gun has an effective range of 12,000 meters. The killing range of the rifle I used in Borno State to counter terrorists has an effective range of 400 meters, the killing range, while the maximum range is 800 meters. So with my own rifle firing at a killing range of 400 meters and 800 meters maximum range, how am I expect to overcome in the battlefield? My first deployment was Town Patrol. Second deployment was in Damboa. Third deployment was at Bali. All these places are dangerous terrains. Again, I still said to my commander, I still appeal to him. I appeal to him that please, we don't have nurses in the battlefront. We don't have doctors in the battlefront. We don't have a state kit in the battlefront. How do we expect to help ourselves should in case anyone gets injured, like bullet injury? As time goes on, after Damboa, we moved to Bali. Bali is an open ground, a rugged terrain, but very open. As time went on, the complaint became rampant. Not only me alone. Soldiers began to complain. Because my boss told me that weapon issue has been one of the greatest challenges facing the army ever since. So when we started losing men, we lost men.
Man, it's very, very difficult from here going on to really listen to this. Before the government comes after me, accusing me of whatever they may wish to, listening to him as a soldier that have been in the field, I sit down here and I think to myself, so meaning we've lost people, like one of the examples that he gave, that on one of the operations they ought not to have gone with a normal vehicle, knowing what sort of operation that was. They ought to have gone with an armored plated car or vehicle, right? But they didn't. They went in with a normal car, so shooting, the pierces, bullets hits a soldier, that's it, that's a life. And how long it takes to train them. I'm thinking, so Joe, by just giving them the wrong equipment, as he explained there, the range of his rifle and the range of the rifle being used by the enemy, ragtag on not well, ragtag actually that has washed their clothes and now no longer rag but plain clothes. You keep wondering. Yet the nation keeps budgeting billions of dollars, not naira, billions of dollars for weapon acquisition. And those that are supposed to handle these weapons are telling you we have inferior ones, we don't have enough. We'll go there, we'll be outgunned, outnumbered. Does it make you happy? Does it make you, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's, this thing just makes you sick most times. And to add salt to injury because of the complaints that, that which you're watching now, eventually, he was court-martialed just for complaining. And you ask yourself, where does that happen on earth? Where? So you should have kept quiet and they just be dying like that. How? I would leave the rest of the video. I think it's on Punch Facebook page. So if you may wish to watch the full episode. Now, having said that, people, I think, in conclusion here, when we come back to what is happening in the Southeast, my conclusion will be as follows. I have these video here.
Pipelines.
That's Liberos, Oshoma Esquire. He made a very salient call that I agree with. And with his video, I will be ending this stream. As many of you noted that Chiwetalu Agu spoke in parable. He spoke, like an elder. That same way, I will use this video to speak to us as a collective. On that note, I will say thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy the video. And good night, everyone.
Igboho, wake up. It was the legend Bob Marley that once sang, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our own mind." While it is fair and natural to have a president of Nigeria of Igbo extraction come 2023, but are we ready to free and open our mind to it? The Southwest fought back the injustice of the June 12, 1993 election using the mass media and were given Obasanjo, though not their candidate, but they embraced him later. Recently, they once again employed propaganda and alliances and got it for Buhari. Niger Delta agitated by blowing up pipelines, kidnapping inclusive, you would say, and got the presidency. The North did same, riots, arson, and killing inclusive, and were settled with the #1 position. Government by settlement, you would agree with me? Why such position may give a sense of belonging to the people from these regions, but frankly, of what good was the presidency to the average person in these regions, apart from creating a few billionaires therefrom? Even with President Buhari's nepotistic appointment, the North is today still ravaged by hunger, deprivation, insecurity, and diseases. Anyway, you will say it's still first rule, then cancel the system. Completely agree with you, my brother. But what is the strategy of Ohaneze Ndigbo? We are the candidates. Will the candidates be the same Rocha Sokorocha, Hope Uzodimma, Dr. Okezekwe Azu of Abia, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, Dave Umahi of Ebonyi, or even Theodore Oji, Chimaroke Nnamani, or Ojuzo Kalu? Anyway, now question I ask, you never reach to verse or quarrel. Or in the words of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, are we going to allow the two major political parties through use the candidate at us to choose from? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. If I may ask, are the arsons and killings in the Southeast a strategy? Anyway, if I ask you, who you go ask? Well, time will tell all of us. But remember, kidnapping started in the South. We all lived in denial, and even though their son, Goodluck Jonathan, later became the president, till date, it still persists and has become a national problem and an embarrassment. How about Boko Haram? According to Azuka Onwuka, my friend, many Northerners hailed it then as a modern-day Voltron when they were attacking other places until they turned against Islam. Even President Buhari was alleged then to have said that an attack on Boko Haram was an attack on the North. A former governor of Yobe, Nyako, accused President Goodluck Jonathan and his chief of army staff, then Lieutenant General Ejirika, of using Boko Haram to depopulate the North. Today, the rest, they say, is history, as Boko Haram has delivered offspring, banditry, kidnapping, and arson. You can name it. Now, the Southeast is burning. And like the ones before them, Igbo leaders are living in denial, blaming Buhari and DSS. The governor of Anambra State, while blaming outsiders, said it was less than 15 people that have been killed so far in Anambra, as if anyone should be killed at all. See, we don't turn killing to a normal thing now for Nigeria. Sad though, I will therefore advocate that Igbo leaders should be strategic in their approach, be it a shot at the presidency or the actualization of Biafra. They should employ the power of persuasion rather than coercion and stop the spreading of hate. If you like, hate me for that. There should be a definite roadmap by the leaders of thought, captains of industries, governors, and political actors in the region to industrialize the entire Southeast, a region that has consistently been underdeveloped despite the industry and wealth creation ability of the average Igbo man. There must be a definite plan by the southeastern governors to create infrastructural synergy amongst the various states in the region. Failure which, soon, Indi Igbos will realize that even if they eventually produce a president or attain Biafra, like other regions in Nigeria, the monster created by this insecurity would make the leader or leaders so created as worthless to the region as the current governors therein, or as President Buhari is with the current insecurity in Nigeria. The ball is in your court. As AGF, my advocacy to the youth is that if you think killing, burning, or insulting those who refuse to follow your style or disagree with your approach is the answer to betting Biafra, you will soon realize that even those who would have supported your agitation will be so ostracized from you like night from day because of insecurity, just like most politicians from the northern region of Nigeria who can no longer go home today. Or like most Nigerians in diaspora who would rather do odd jobs abroad than take up white-collar jobs in Nigeria because of what we have turned Nigeria to. Umunna, Umuada, and the entire Igbo, the time to wake up, wise up, and take back your land is now. As according to Timaya, when that time will come, they know they tell a person. Until next week, for previous episodes, simply follow us on all our various social media platforms.